These are the directions for what my Algebra 1 students need to accomplish in class on Monday, April, what's it going to be, the 28th. I will not be in school. I'm taking my daughter to the Henry Ford Museum, chaperoning with her class. So I want to make sure that you're clear. I expect both the Tiffany's Plants assignments and solving systems of equations by substitution. Tiffany's Plants is a multiple page document. Solving systems of equations by substitution, you're looking at completing 10 substitution problems like we've been practicing in class. Tiffany's Plants is an assignment that it has to do with solving systems by graphing as well as identifying rates of change from a table. I'm just getting my papers labeled up. If you haven't done it yet, please do while I'm talking. During class today, I expect you to stay on task. I expect you to accomplish this work. I expect from every single person that at least one of these assignments completed in their entirety is left with the guest teacher today, and whatever is not, if not both, whatever is not finished in class needs to be completed for homework. First of all, just a couple of things about your solving systems of equations by substitution. You will need to make sure that you show all your work. I just want to remind you of a couple of things. You have a gold foldable on solving systems of equations by substitution. The second flap has to do with substitution. You could get that out and use it as reference. One of the things that I want you to notice is there's a few problems on this page that have simple substitutions going on. There's a few problems like number 1 that just say y is equal to -3. So when you go to solve these, you're just looking to find what that x value is and identify that solution or the point of intersection when then they would be graphed. In problem like number 6, just remember that what we want to do is just, in this case, problem number 6, I don't think that we've looked at these together, but in a problem like number 6, since these are both equal to y equals this and y equals that, we can just use this as a, think about this one as a break even. Set them equal to each other. If they're both equal to y, why can't they both be equal to each other? Start your process of undoing to get your x's together on one side, solve for x, and then use it for y. So that's a hint to get you started on number 6. I'm going to give a suggestion on number 2, that you solve this system in number 2 by manipulating the first equation into an x equals. And in order to manipulate the first equation into an x equals, it would be a matter of subtracting 3y from both sides and looking at the equation as x equals 18 minus 3y, and then using that 18 minus 3y in place of the x value. Don't forget that the coefficient of x in this case is going to be -1, so it's going to be -1 times the quantity 18 minus 3y equals -25. Distribute your -1 and start the process of undoing to find your y. Let me look here. Something a little bit different but still accessible is number 9. Number 9, if we're going to use substitution, we want a y equals or an x equals. The x in this equation has a 5 on it. The y in this equation has an 8 as a coefficient. But in this equation, 4x equals 24, I can easily solve this for x. And then go ahead and just use that. So don't let the simplicity of the second equation confuse you. And number 10 again, put it together like a break even. The remaining problems you'd want to solve as we solve literal equations for a y or an x value in order to substitute. Now on your Tiffany's Plant assignment, please take a look at that. One of the things that I want you to notice is that when you start to read about what Tiffany has going on and what she's doing and how she's recording her growth, it is significant in terms of your rate of change that her growth record is for every 2 weeks with plant A and plant B. So when you're analyzing the change in the table and you're looking for your slope or your rate of change, I want you to think about how our rate of change is always in increments of 1. So it may actually just help you out. Oops, that was 6. Just adding in values into your table. If in 2 weeks it grew from 4 to 5, that was 1 inch, I would venture to guess that in week 1 then it had to have been 4.5, and that's just a little clue in terms of the growth rate. Make sure that you not only label plant, follow the directions, of course, read all the parts. I'm not going to give you any more clue. Well, I'll give you the clue that, we're going to rate these as they're going up at constant rates. We're going to write y equals mx plus b. So you've had a lot of experience with that. Make sure that you label your graph in terms of week and height as you graph. And then when you move on, there are colored pencils in my room by the calculators. You should grab a couple. When you move on into the other parts of the assignment with Tiffany's plants, just make sure that you're following the specific directions. When it says graph the growth of plant C on the same graph, I mean on the graph that's on the front of this assignment. And also pay attention to how the questions are worded, particularly in Part D. Making sure that you're using math vocabulary in your descriptions and you're writing meaningful descriptions. I expect good quality work today, even though I'm not there to assist you. If you check out Plant D in the end, it's kind of an interesting thing going on in the table. But what I do notice in the table is that even though these are, we're starting out at a half a week, you might have to do some thinking about what these week 0 starting value would be. But they are going up by 1. So your rate of change, I'm seeing the rate of change as being 0.5 each time. They are going up by 1. So your rate of change looks like it's going to be 0.5. The interesting part here is to figure out what that starting height would have been. Make sure these things are absolutely finished before you bother turning them in. Otherwise, you will be wasting your own time in terms of earning a grade, because I won't grade them if they're not, everything's not attempted. If you get down and get busy here, you've watched a 7-minute video, hopefully attendance has gone well and you can get started. Honestly, I think you're all capable of getting both of these assignments done and turning them in before you leave. But if you don't, please take them home, finish them, and bring them back tomorrow. Be on your best behavior and be respectful to your sub. Thanks.